something about vampire sex versus werewolf sex. Vampires seem to take 2 seconds. Werewolves, long and drawn out. Why is this?
You know, I had a long conversation with Alan Ball prior to this season about werewolf sex.
Hey, here we are.
Hi, cheers, guys.
Good to have you here, Joe.
Thanks, Dan. Good to be here.
Joe, I want to test you. How do you pronounce your last name?
Manganiello.
Manganiello. You got it right, son of a gun. That's pretty good.
First time.
What a treat to be with you. True blood Joe Manganiello.
Flash Thompson, Joe Manganiello.
That's right. Well, that I should have said first, because to me, that's the most important.
Yeah.
From Spider-Man #1, right?
You were responsible for my first job in Hollywood.
Was that really your first job in Hollywood?
First job in Hollywood, yeah. I met Sam Raimi the week that I got out of drama school and read me for Flash Thompson, and I got the part.
Right out of drama school.
Yeah.
We have to talk about how geeky you are, because I had read that you're sort of a geek in a football player's body.
That's
Sort of appropriate for Flash.
completely accurate. Yeah. Big geek. I mean, I read comic books so obsessively as a kid that I actually started shoplifting them as a kid. I would read them so fast that I couldn't pay for them all, so I'd shoplift them all. But to make kind of a funny side story.
If any policemen are listening, it's beyond the statute of limitations.
Well, the point is that 14 years later, I went back to my mother's house, went into the closet. All those comics were still there in mint condition, and I called up the store in Pittsburgh, still there, same owner, and I went in and returned them all to the owner 14 years later. I actually have it on video somewhere.
Wow.
But
and he's now a billionaire because he sold them.
Did you sign them all?
They're in perfect condition. Well, at the top of the stack were the Todd McFarlane Spider-Mans.
Oh yeah.
Which was kind of funny, I guess, that it manifested in me getting the role in the movie.
Well, you draw as well, right?
As a kid, yeah, I drew obsessively. I was always had my nose in Stephen King books, or was drawing something, writing characters, creating all this stuff. My father just wanted me to go outside and play football because when you grow up in Western Pennsylvania and you're my size, that's it. So I put that geeky side away for about 10 years to go play sports year round. And then somewhere in high school, kind of got reconnected with that through my high school had a TV studio, and I would write these scripts and come up with characters for me and my friends, and we go out and film these big mafia, kung fu, martial art, action movies, and that's really how my creative side came back out.
The thing about you being a wolf, a werewolf, that I find, fascinating. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you hardly need any makeup. I mean, you look like one now with the beard.
It's the beard, yeah.
All you need are longer teeth, and I'd be terrified.
Well, my eyes turn yellow when I transform, Stan, yeah. So.
Well, I have to bring this up because I not only have a True Blood show, but I mean, I'm obsessed with the show. But there's a little something about vampire sex versus werewolf sex. Vampires seem to take 2 seconds. Werewolves, long and drawn out. Why is this?
I had a long conversation with Alan Ball prior to this season about werewolf sex and what it would be like, and the after effects on a normal girl versus a werewolf girl.
This is going to be our most popular interview. Now let's hear it from the beginning.
Well, and we agreed that a normal girl, after having the morning after, let's say, would kind of wake up with that kind of thing, and then kind of do the cowgirl walk all day, and and that translated into the scene in episode 8 where you have a werewolf on werewolf, and I'm pretty sure that's the first sex scene involving Hong Kong action wires ever.
He threw her across the room.
Yeah, that's what werewolves do. She scratched me, bit me, yeah. And you throw her across the room. It's very athletic, I would say, werewolf sex.
Is it satisfying?
Very.
Not only athletic, but satisfying.
What I think is really interesting about True Blood, and really interesting about this topic in particular, is that you get to see an actual depiction of two superpowered characters
going at
it. Where I think growing up, I love Marvel as opposed to, say, some of the other companies, because I think the characters, some of them were a little darker, they had a little more dirt on them, a little more grit, they were more human, more fallible, a little more gray area, and they hooked up with each other. Whereas other comic book companies kind of strayed away from that.
Yeah, we tried to play up their personal life almost as much as their adventure life.
Yeah. So it's fun to get to actually portray that, because you don't necessarily sometimes see those superhero comedies.
But we didn't have too much. Well, we did have the She-Hulk, but we didn't have too many sex scenes with her. One thing we had with
That's
Mr.
fan fiction.
Fantastic, you know, whose body could stretch.
Yes.
I used to get a lot of embarrassing questions. I won't go into great detail. I think you know what I mean. We never were able to show really the sex scenes in Marvel Comics because we had to be aware they were also young kids reading them. I always wish we could have an older version of them, not pornographic, but just to get a little more into reality. You know, when they got together, what do they do? How did they do it? And
They have tea.
Well, you know, a few years back, the Supreme Power comics came out, which were really, you know, these grittier Marvel versions of the DC stories.
Yeah.
And they kind of got into that, like the Hyperion storyline.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that kind of Superman parallel character with when he realizes, I could kill you all. I'm not human. I'm not even American. Why am I doing this? And I think he goes to a strip club to experiment because he wants to have sex for the first time and smokes cigarettes and tries to get drunk and it doesn't work. And so you get to see this kind of Superman in this really dark.
But that's really
Twisted
good
way.
stuff
Yeah.
because anything that you can read like that and it makes you say, well, that's what I would do if I were him.
Completely.
And then you have and that's what,
If I was Superman, I'd go straight to the strip club. Yeah.
damn right. You've never played a zombie, have you?
I have not played a zombie. I played a ghost once.
The reason I asked about the zombie is I have something, I have a little column called Stan's Rants on the internet. Things that bother me, and I talk about. This is one of the things that bothers me. It has nothing to do with anything, but if I were a zombie, if I came back from the dead, it seems to me, why would I want to go around killing people and eating them? I would be so happy I'm back. I'd be saying, ooh, look at me, I'm alive again, let's party. I mean, why do they become bad? Just because they're back from the dead.
So what you're saying is if you were a zombie, you wouldn't spend your time eating people, you'd go straight to the strip club and hang out with Superman and try to get drunk.
In fact, when you die, they should put little instructions, the address of the nearest strip club, just in case.
All roads.
See, I like a guy who thinks deep.
This all needs to be tweeted. It really, really does.
We got to get you on True Blood, Stan. You'll pat, yeah.
So when am I going to get a cameo in True Blood?
You could be a werewolf if you grow the beard back out.
Yeah, well, I could always just get an artificial one.
Yeah, I could do it.
Do I have to be a werewolf? Couldn't I be?
What would you rather be? You got werepanthers,
I think I'm more
werewolves, vampires.
I think I'm more of a
shapeshifters.
vampire type, don't you?
Vampire type?
I could be a vampire, I think. Or I could just be a guy who's maybe caught between the two of them. And he has to talk his way out of it, and he doesn't succeed, and he gets eaten alive. Whatever.
Or just a zombie at a strip club.
Oh.
A happy zombie.
Happy
All right.
zombie.
Not an angry one, not a murderous one, a happy,
A happy
grateful
zombie.
zombie.
Oh my
Yeah.
I
God.
think it can be arranged.
On that note, cheers.
You're ending it just when he starts mentioning strip clubs, and we had a whole new subject
You want to talk more
go
about strip
into.
clubs?
You're
I think
gonna
that's the
frustrate our
through line
viewers.
of this interview.
It kinda
has
has.
All right,
been
I
strip
think that's
clubs.
about it.
Yeah.
Hey, great having you here,
Cheers.
Joe.
Cheers.
Thank you
Cheers.
for your help.
Want to give us some?
Excelsior!